Hey folks, it's time for some more quarantine drinking. It's another episode of GDP and the Pig. I am GDP and this is my pig. And today's wine is kind of exciting. It is a very light and easy drinking wine in many ways. It's the Franz Gojer Santa Magdalener. Glogelhof is the estate name. It is just to the north, a little east of the city of Bolzano, the Alto Adige in Italy, in northern Italy. If you ever are in Bolzano, you can take a cable car to Sopra Bolzano. It's a little grouping of 3, maybe 4 villages. It's a beautiful place to stay. It's very fresh in the summertime. You got to eat early because the restaurants close at 8:20 at the latest. But the cable car goes from right in the middle, the edge of Bolzano by the train station to Sopra Bolzano. It's beautiful. And if you take that cable car up, you'll pass almost above Santa Magdalena and Glogelhof. It'll be to the right as you're going up on the first hill, right behind Bolzano. And so this is a very typical wine of the region. It's Santa Magdalena, which is the appellation. It's a blend of primarily Schiava with a little Lagrein. In this case, it's about 5% Lagrein. I think more typically you'll find them around 10% Lagrein. Schiava by itself, very light. Made as a red wine, it comes off decidedly more rosé-like in many cases. There are some very good old vineyards, this happens to be one of them, that produce fabulous, very perfumed, balanced, elegant wines. Add a little Lagrein to it to beef it up a little bit. I mean, I have a theory that in the past, Schiava is a very prolific producer, and the wines, I remember wines 30 years ago, 40 years ago that were 10% alcohol, very light, and I would imagine adding a little Lagrein or doing a ripasso with the seeds and stems of the Lagrein would add a lot to the Santa Magdalena, to the Schiava. Today, I don't know if you can really see, this wine is got a beautiful color. It's ruby red, but very pale. It's a little purple highlights. It's young. It was 2017. It's 13% alcohol. It's very perfumed. Spends a little bit of time in wood, but the spice on this nose is not from wood. It's very spicy, almost clove-like. A lot of pomegranate, a little rhubarb, the small wild cherry, wild berries. I'm having a peppery too. It's a little peppery right now. We're having a Chinese-influenced dinner: orange beef and duck fried rice, and it's a tough one to pair with red wine. So I was thinking either you go with something very fruity and almost sweet-like a Zinfandel, which would be too much for the duck fried rice, or something like this, which is palate-refreshing, fruity, bright, crisp, and goes with almost anything. Sadly, this is my last bottle because this is a great wine for the summertime. Very little tannin. A little bit right on the tip of my tongue. Still a little fruit tannin left. Good acidity, clear, crystal clear. A little bit of granite minerality, very fresh fruit, but not fruity, not sweet. Crisp, fruit skin, berry skin. Super drinkable, so pleasant. On the back end, it's not really sweetness. There's a tiny little bit of volume, a little bit of texture, it's not chewy, but there's a little density that the Lagrein adds. And adds some length. A slightly black spice, darker fruit quality that I associate with Lagrein is present here on the finish. It's a beautiful wine. It's great for everyday drinking. The problem Santa Magdalena and Schiava have are that they are not super cheap wines. And a lot of people feel like wines like this should cost less, but they take just as much care as other wines, and just as much effort is put into making them. That's why the product, the end result, is so fabulous. So unfortunately, that's how much they cost. You should still buy a bottle or two every year, support the producers, enjoy the wine, broaden your horizons. That's what we should all be doing during this COVID shutdown. So here's to that. Cheers to, there you go, a little bit of backlighting gets you great image of the color. Broaden your horizons, enjoy your wine, and until the next time we sit down together, I wish you a good evening, and forza to all my Italian friends. Arrivederci.